Oh, where's my notebook? We are starting. Hang on, we are starting. I wrote notes now. So off the icebreaker. 2 seconds. Lee Donaldson. Welcome to H Hour.
Thank you.
Best podcast you ever done, mate. Best
Certainly
in,
is.
maybe. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it's a good setup.
Thank you very much.
It's a good start.
Thank you very much. Okay, so on the icebreaker, I know there's a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about. Bunch of stuff, right? Including films and movies and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
However, you mentioned a bunch of stuff on the icebreaker that we just recorded that's got my brain thinking. Schwarzenegger, you mentioned, positive way. I mentioned Trump. These weren't part of the same the same parts of the icebreaker. Trump was mentioned, Schwarzenegger was mentioned, and then when you mentioned when we were talking about Trump and also Schwarzenegger, albeit briefly, Musk popped into my head. And I was thinking. Okay, so the question I wanted to ask you, which is a bone of... This is not the topic I want to talk about. The question I want to ask you, which is a bone of contention amongst some patrons and followers of the podcast and certain chat setup is, would you class Donald Trump as a successful businessman or not?
Yes, because he has enough credibility for people to bail him out. Because business is about success and failure.
Yes, enough credibility for people to bail him out.
Yes, and you need to be successful in business. You need people to invest in you, and that may be.
Are you right with that mic there?
Yeah,
like this.
It may be coming on board as a client, or a partner, or an investor. He's proven that he has some credibility, at least, an acumen, business acumen, to warrant that. Because unless he's got something else before he was president that we're not aware of, some type of influence and control, and perhaps a fear factor into people, how else has he attained that money?
The argument against saying that he's a successful businessman can be in two categories broadly. One is that he allegedly has a history of not paying or not managing suppliers fairly, and the second one is that he has a history of failed businesses. I don't pay much attention to the second one of failed businesses. I think it's part and parcel of being a success is failure.
Yeah.
And I subscribe to the same view you do. I think very obviously is a successful businessman. Does it mean you have to like him? No, you don't. You can dislike him and describe him as a successful person. It may sting a little bit, but I think that's the case. But there is a bit of a checkered history.
Well, it's just like anyone. You can be successful in business, but you have to be a bit ruthless at some point. Jeff Bezos was not the nicest man, I imagine, on his rise to success with Amazon. There would have been instances where he was nasty, ruthless, vicious, aggressive, failed probably many times, annoyed people, pissed them off, got on the wrong side of retailers who were like, who do you think you are stepping on our toes?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Same thing with Trump. Yeah, he may have failed and he may have done business badly with certain people, but he's had turnover, he's made profit, he's made money, and he's still making business. Now it's slightly different.
Fucking president
Yeah,
for the second time.
Yeah, so different type of business model. But yeah, so you can't. I don't like him. I don't support him, by the way. But you can't disregard that, and you can't look at some success of businesses they've never had a failed business or they've never done something wrong. I'm sure many successful businesses, small or larger, at some point have not paid their clients on time. They've been late. I used to work in a industry where I was as a supplier to retailers, and we're talking large accounts, national accounts, Harrods and other department stores, chains. They sometimes didn't pay us on time. Does that mean that's bad business from them? No, sometimes there's just a delay in the process, or if it's an independent, they're a bit short on the spare capital. Trump, yeah, but like you said, he could have essentially mugged off suppliers, but business is ruthless.
Yeah.
So we can't look at the ethics and morals there.
Yeah,
you know, we can't.
They're a factor in the character of someone, right, or the nature of a business. But
you would rather have an associate like him who's a good man, yeah. But usually, people like that are not going to be good people. So does it mean they're good at business? Yeah, it's a 50-50 thing. Yes and no. He's not self-made either, though.
No, no,
Let's
no.
not forget that.
No, yeah.
So if we look at objectively there, I would then say he is only half successful because he's already had that foot in the door and then some. Yeah.
Mm.
You mentioned about Elon Musk. He's had that foot in the door from a young age of his dad's mines that he has. I'm sure you're aware of that, yeah?
His dad's
His
mines.
dad had diamond mines or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah. So there would have been a nice bit of money there to set up PayPal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See what I mean? But sometimes you have help, sometimes you don't have help. But for me, if you haven't had help and then you've had success, it's a slightly different level of success, or perhaps a different spectrum.
Yeah.
It's subjective.
That's the reason I mentioned those three people, because they popped into my head. Well, we mentioned two of them. The other one popped into my head on the icebreaker, and that is that I was wondering in my head is if you can broadly categorize like these kinds of uber successful people. We could categorize those three, for example, other differences, right? So I would say you look at Trump, and Trump is a highly intelligent individual. I wouldn't call him a genius. He's a highly intelligent individual. He knows how to influence people. He knows how to play the political game, I think, a little bit, but it's more so the business game, and those two are intertwined, never more so, unfortunately. But has had a leg up, right? That's Trump. Okay, so highly likely to be successful because has the intelligence and the business acumen and the influential abilities. It's a charismatic individual. You can't deny he's got a lot of friends, his family, all the rest of that stuff. Had a leg up, right? So that's sort of general. Then you got Musk, right? And you got Musk, who is highly intelligent. You could argue is super intelligent in some aspects, like, up there, spectrum level, Asperger's, or whatever you want to call it in certain aspects. And I think that's quite evident the way he is.
Yeah.
But also had a leg up, right? But with him, I think with Musk, he needed to find there was less chance of him being highly as successful as he is now compared to what Trump is, because his ability is much more acute, right? It's not like widespread, general, great at all this stuff. His technical stuff is good.
It's also the timing where he's had success.
Yeah.
These tech innovations didn't exist when Trump was doing well in the 80s and 90s in different areas of business.
True, yeah.
So they're different forms of business as well. Musk is in an area of time where he can capitalize on his spectrum mind.
Yeah.
30 years ago, maybe not.
No. Yeah.
Perhaps.
Then you look at Schwarzenegger. And to me, Schwarzenegger is someone you look, and it is in hindsight, and everything we know about him now, and I look at him and I think he would have been uber successful in anything he put his mind to.
Yep.
He would have been the top of the tree, and he has been the top of the tree in many different things, right? From American politics, almost the top of the tree, but high up in the tree, American politics, bodybuilding, acting, you name it, right? And he has been uber successful at it. No leg up whatsoever.
Nope.
No leg up whatsoever. And
No
I think
contacts,
the difference
no
is,
contacts, nothing.
no, yeah, exactly. I think the difference is the highly intelligent individual, but vastly overshadowing that is his drive and his ambition, his motivation. Much more than Trump has got, much more than Musk has got. And I think that's a level of drive and ambition you can't get, arguably. It's much less likely you can have that if you've got a leg up. Because it's a survival. I think it's a survival mechanism that kicks that in.
But they've all got one common link: superior social skills. Because no matter how much you know,
superior genetics,
that's it. But we can all have drive and ambition and intelligence, but ultimately they're trying to appealing to the masses, or certain people, to allow them the exposure to those masses. They don't have the personal and social skills to come across well. No one gives a shit. No one does. People don't like you very quickly, and then you get boycotted, or you get blacklisted, or you get ridiculed and critiqued. So at some point in time, all three of them have had to befriend the right people and work with the same people well. Otherwise, things would have gone bad for them. Perhaps Trump may be an exception.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've got money, money does talk. Less of an impact if you just cut people off and get rid of them, because you can get away with it.
But there are certain key players in certain industries that you need to be friends with.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that at some point, all three of them had to approach these top dogs of that sector or that clique or that little circle of people and befriend them and build trust and rapport with them. If they didn't do that, it's more unlikely they'd have had that growth, because they're the gatekeepers, and the gatekeepers exist in every industry and every job in the world. There's always someone above you you've got to get on side with. I've seen it in various professional industries where this person I know should have been promoted. Someone's holding them back because they're the gatekeeper. Do you know why? Because they just don't like them, or they see them as a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think you are trying to take my job? I've been working in this industry for 20, 30 years. You don't know nothing. You've only been here 5, 10. Sometimes people are just better.
Not even that these days. It's
Job security.
Sorry, who
as
did
well.
you say? Who did you say you liked in politics?
Yeah, sometimes that. Yeah.
What badge are you wearing?
Yeah. But do you see what I mean about social skills?
Yeah.
And you have to be a bit of a psychologist, so we can link it to psychology. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is something I studied at university. And
you studied in uni, psychology. Yeah.
So I did sports science, but I specialised in psychology because it's very interesting. And psychology of people is used in all industries, all walks of life. Yeah, this is how business works.
It's anecdotally, I know so many people who are going in to study psychology, and like as a second career now. It's really surprising. At least maybe 3 or 4 over the last 18 months, people I know who started a psychology degree in uni. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know why it's so interesting. But go on.
But you can diversify and go into many different types of employment or freelance. I have to get in people's heads all the time to try and change their mindset and lifestyle, how they're thinking about their health, their finances, their relationships, everything they do. It all starts with psychology or the mental aspect. So I'm trying to link the 3 of them with their psychology and social skills to get on board with the right people was their common link, separate to anything else they had going from that point. Money, contacts, success. Arnold, for example, because he had that platform, the bodybuilding stage, that helped. But someone in politics, like bodybuilding, it's just weird. I don't care about that. Doesn't mean anything. How can you transfer it here? So he had to prove himself to different people again and again and again. So
what fascinates me about Arnold is it seems to me that he was at that time when I don't think psychology was really understood as well as it is now. Everything back in the day was understood less than it is now, but I wasn't sort of mainstream as something you would consider in just general application in your daily life, professional or personal, right? And he seemed to be super young and ahead of the game in the way he applied that to his personal and professional growth. And I think that's most evident, to me anyway, in Pumping Iron, is where it's super evident. The way he is interacting and playing not only the other competitors in the Mr. Olympia, but the families as well.
Yeah.
Lou.
Ferrigno's dad. Ferrigno's dad, yeah.
Ferrigno's dad. Ferrigno's dad, just playing him.
Even a bit of banter with him, yeah.
But it seems like banter.
It's not banter.
It absolutely is not banter.
He is being a bit disrespectful, really.
Oh, yeah. He's talking about his sister and all those different things. But the point is, it's deliberate and it's measured, it's calculated. And doesn't he hide... There's a bit where he hides someone else's, he hides one of the guy's bit of equipment or clothing, T-shirt. Yeah. Hides one of the guy's T-shirts just before the guy's about to go on stage and perform.
Some of this was added in, though, for the...
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Don't ruin it for me.
So
what do you mean it was added in?
Some of it is a bit scripted, just so you're aware,
okay.
But generally speaking, the majority of things he did do were genuine and off-cuff. They weren't planned and staged. But they did try to paint him out, the director, as being this mischievous, annoying, goading person. Probably more than he was. But he liked playing that character. Probably
played in Arnold's favour anyway.
This is his first time basically being an actor or a character. They're trying to show how he is. And they exaggerated it slightly. But yeah, he did get in the heads all the time. And it worked. It worked.
It works, to your point about
and
psychology.
Psychology, yeah.
Anything you do from every interaction you have, any interaction you have with people, you have an interaction. You don't have interactions for no reason. All right, you got small talk. But even small talk is for a reason. You don't waste time You don't waste time small talking to people. When you small talking to someone, and women are great at this, I'm generalizing. I am not good at it, but even just there, you are. That is an influential action you're taking, and the influence can be as basic as maintaining a positive relationship with this person.
Yeah,
I think just talking. hey, I'm still part of your community, I'm still part of your tribe, I'm still an ally. Just by talking shit
Yeah.
about whatever, Coronation Street or Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
or in the gym. It's all, everything we do is influential. Don't think any aspect of communication we have with other people is to no end. Very rarely, anyway. I don't know. Am I
Well,
wrong?
some people speak with no agenda when they speak to other people. Others just speak casually with like I said, no agenda behind it. Arnold would always talk to people because he's trying to get something out of them, information, a contact, get in their head to help him get a leg up. So he was more calculated. Whereas, generally speaking, when you meet people, it's just sincere, your conversation, depending on what your motives are. But again, he was a good example of many things. He's a good reference in general. I know people, when you mention his name, always think about bodybuilding, but he, even in his early days with the bodybuilding, recognized that he had a team of strong men here who he trained and went out with and partied with. So he put together his own construction company with them. Did him and his friend Franco know what they were doing? No. They were just completely winging it. But there are still apparently walls that they built still standing. Yeah. And he identified a way to bring a team together and profit from them by being in charge and still doing the labour to an extent. But he's clever. He was clever. His approach then approaching these other young men saying, look, do you want to work for me? Bearing in mind, he's got no construction background and he's a foreigner. Just shows another level of intelligence and clever psychology to get in their heads and be trusting, and build respect. And they see value in offering their time and energy to him, even if a agreed rate of pay. They could have been like, what are you talking about? You don't know. You're just a foreigner. You're a German as well, yeah? So, or Austrian, but...
Austrian, yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I think he's the best example for a businessman, because a business person identifies an opportunity to make money in any area of life. And Arnold has done that. Yeah. The other two, like I mentioned, Musk has done it where he's been in the right place at the right time for his age. There are references saying that he's good at stealing people's ideas and buying them out and then making them better. Even if that's the case, he still has been a pioneer of other things and an innovator. So he's got his successes there. Trump, industries are different, but again, it is hard to compare them. But
they're very different.
But I would say they have a lot of common traits and similarities. And probably to summarize for me, the most common theme really actually is confidence. Yeah, because if you don't have that, it won't go very far. What you want to do, what you're planning, what you are doing, you'll just lose momentum. So they've all got that confidence in themselves because no one else. I mean, they might have advisors or they might have had a partner rooting for them, or their children. But ultimately, in life, like anything, it's your own confidence.
Yeah, I think it's that, and it's confidence in yourself, but also a key piece of it is appearing confident to the people you want to influence.
Yep.
We're
not showing weakness.
and that also influences the way you feel about yourself. And I feel I literally can make myself feel more confident by adjusting you will notice, but by adjusting my physical posture. Puff my chest out, put my shoulders back, and when I walk, and these are things I do if I'm feeling socially anxious. When I walk somewhere, I try and make sure when I walk in, I feel like, I'm going to give my presence off. I don't want to walk in there and appear anything less than a confident individual, because that'll make, if I think I look like that, it'll impact my confidence. It'll have like a magnifying, compounding impact. That'll impact my confidence, which is already low, as I wouldn't be thinking about it's going in, and then it just spirals me down, and I won't be talking to anyone. And it could be a situation where I need to talk. I need to go in and, but not bond, socialize for whatever reason. That appearance of confidence is super key.
Confidence is also infectious, and people like it. It's an attractive quality, whether it's a business setting, social setting, wherever it may be. They instantly feel more relaxed as well, that person, because they also might be slightly introvert who you're meeting. Even though they may be a successful, influential person, they may need you to bring them out slightly. And if you're lacking, it's not going to go very far, is it?
Why do you think that is? Do you think that's like a hark back to sort of ancestral times where it's safety in numbers, group, safety in numbers and groups, and feeling like there are capable people in the group who can protect you if it all goes
Yeah,
peak top.
humans always depend on an individual or a group of senior looking, confident individuals. People display that in everyday life with how they try to stay together in groups and don't want to be isolated. I'll give you an example. We can all have probably felt this, unless it's me only who gets annoyed about it.
Let's gonna find out.
You drive, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So you picture the setting. You can go to any car park in this country, any time of the day. Maybe there's quite a few bays spare, yeah? And you're parking one with no car either side of you. Another person pulls in. Where do they choose to park?
Next to you.
Directly next to you. And sometimes so close they can barely open their door, or you can either. You can't either, yeah? Why do they do that when they've got other bays to choose from? Is it because they feel safer, or they feel like they've been brainwashed to think we should use those spaces first before others are used? Perhaps. The way I see it is that it's a ancestral thing to be close to other humans. Because for me, just from practicality and common sense, I'd want more space to open my door if I knew there's other bays. Okay?
Yeah.
That's how I see it, yeah?
I think that's quite rare though over here, is it not?
I've spoken to other people.
It doesn't happen to me.
happens-
Maybe people want to stay away from me.
You're very lucky then.
Yeah, you don't see in my car.
Okay, but then on public transport, same thing. That you get on a tube, certain time of the day if it's not busy, you'll sit down, empty seats. Person will sit right next to you when there's all these empty seats. And
You're having a different experience than
maybe I am, but I have asked a few other people and they've said similar things with parking. And I don't know, I just find wherever I go or people I'm with, humans want to be near. It may be just an energy thing, I don't know, yeah? But they want to be near others that I've observed. But you're saying you haven't. Fair enough, that's your experience.
Yeah.
But I've just always seen that, yeah, wherever I go, no matter how much space and distance there is, people want to minimize that. And for me, my observation is that's an ancestral thing.
Yeah.
Of not wanting to be isolated.
It's also cultural, I think. So when I went out to Argentina when I was young, and I was on a bus when I was 15. I went out on my own, but I had family out there, and I went on a bus with my uncle. And he said at the time, and maybe misremembering this, and he's not around anymore to ask him, unfortunately, but he said that out there, if you got on the bus and there was someone on the bus and there was a spare seat and there was other spare seats, if you didn't sit next to them, it was considered like insulting. It was like, it was a bit, not taboo, but it was impolite to sit elsewhere. You should sit next to someone.
Have you been taught that in the UK though? Did your parents teach you that in this country? Because that's obviously
no, but that's what I mean. My natural instinct would be to sit away. I want distance and space away from
anyone. That's how I am. Yeah, but not in an antisocial way. I just think practicality, maybe slight elements.
Yeah,
but I think in practicality, I just think there's all that space there. Take that space. Only be in my space if you absolutely need to. But then I just feel like they just feel safer being near you. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be some people listening who will agree with me with the parking thing.
I bet none of them are ginger. It must be just a ginger thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it is. Psychology absolutely fascinates me.
But people do like you mentioned about looking at a leader or a strong person. No one really wants to be that voice of reason because ultimately you're the one who's under the firing line. You're the one who's at risk. It's your reputation, your name, your image, your safety, even to an extent, depending on
your families.
And your families. Yeah. So I get that. And I've, a few times in different industries or walks of life, even as a child at school, being like a captain and this and that, you are looked up to, but you are the person everyone goes to. And there are a lot of people rely on you. Some people don't want that pressure, or some people don't have the confidence in themselves to manage that.
And natural leadership ability.
It's natural, yeah. But I don't think it can be taught. It can only be learnt through your life experience, and you develop it naturally. Say born leaders, but a lot of it comes from experiences that have made you evolve and be tougher and harder to manage that, perhaps. Then you gravitate to that. But yeah, more people are willing to look up to an individual rather than nominate themselves for that. If you give another example for psychology, we did a table read the other day for my film, and the director and myself asked everyone, "Has anyone got any questions before we proceed?" Silence. Yeah, and I said, "Guys, you can say anything you like. Don't worry. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel like I'm the first person. I don't want to do it. I feel
Were
awkward."
these all fresh? Were they all new actors or are they experienced?
Experienced. And they've been cast, they've had their self-tapes reviewed, and they've been accepted for their roles. And they may have genuinely not had anything to say. That's fair enough. But generally speaking, I find that people are too nervous because they're overthinking what others might think or say based on what they say. It's a common thing, and it happened again on the second table read. Again,
With the same set of people?
different set of people.
Okay.
So again, it may have been the same scenario. No one had anything to say. Fair enough. And then things come up as they listen and think, oh, I should ask that at the end, actually. I should have asked that before. Fair enough. But I've seen that same behavior and pattern in so many different ways in life where it's like people just don't have the confidence to speak up or say something, especially if they don't agree with something. That's another thing. Like if you're in a management meeting, you don't want to be that person to say to the boss, oh, actually, they'd rather keep quiet because they don't even want to challenge even if they're correct. Yeah,
Most of the time, it's the boss's fault.
It is, yeah, but you
Most of the
can't call the boss out, can you? Really? And if you want to keep your job,
A good boss, you should be able to. Absolutely. A good
well,
boss, you should be able to.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. Well, speaking to people working in the
Like
professional
what?
industry for a long time, including myself in the corporate world prior, it can sometimes be, it becomes
Oh, I'm
a
not.
situation where that boss is so arrogant and so they feel this, they know everything because of their lifetime experience of 20 plus years. If you dare question anything they say, it's the end of the world. So then again, sorry,
Sorry.
everyone at that table says nothing.
So what I said was, you should be able to.
You should.
You
Yeah,
should be
yeah,
able to.
yeah.
You know, and like you, I've worked for a variety of different. Everyone's worked for different bosses. Some of them mega receptive. You know, the interesting one of that is the military. You know, in the military, most units, subunits, small units, teams, sections, tunes, squadrons, whatever you want to call them, it would be highly unusual for you to be accepted that you challenge the plan or the orders of the commander. In specialist units, that can be different. When I had my sniper team, I ran it as a Chinese parliament, so to speak, in some ways, with limitations. It was like Chinese parliament, except I had the final say. You know, if we were putting a plan together for a mission, then I would propose the plan, or we would all work out a plan together, and then I'd make the final say in it. I would involve them all. The difference being is that I knew those guys very, very well. I knew all their capabilities. I knew their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I trusted them. I trusted the voice what they thought was correct, and they trusted me. I gave them the psychological safety to be able to challenge anything that I said or suggested in a constructive way.
But you created a safe space and level of respect there.
But in other ways, you couldn't do it, and you wouldn't want it.
For the listeners, I'm referencing civilian world. Yeah.
There's crossover.
You're ex-military. My brother's ex-military. We speak about civil life compared to the military life, and you're right. There are instances where you just categorically cannot speak up or challenge. Does that mean they're subdued? Does that mean that there's a psychology factor? No, it's just order. So we get that. But that order, they try to move sometimes into the civil life, and it doesn't always work.
No.
You know, and you can't
be
a dictator either. You need to be an autocratic leader. Yeah. I always
Describe what you mean by autocratic.
Someone who's willing to be challenged and then listen, take that on board, and then work with the person or people that are asking them to change this procedure or this rule, whatever it may be. You're basically open and receptive. You're not a dictator. You're not going to kill them for it, fire them, or in any way harm them. You'll take it on the chin, you know. That tends to work better. Sometimes in certain ways it can be seen as soft and a weakness, because you can look at fictitious period shows like Game of Thrones. If you were shown to be giving mercy, which would be considered autocratic, let's say someone stole something from the crown and you gave them mercy, you'd get your right hand man saying, "Oh, we shouldn't do that. That's not a good example. You need to show the people that the crown won't tolerate theft from the crown," or things like that. Yeah. But sometimes that firm but fair approach is better. I find that if you are just very much, this is how it is, don't question me, I'm the boss, you'll get people's back up, and they won't believe in you. They won't want to work with you or work for you. Once you've lost their trust and respect, it's hard to get it back unless you are literally forcing them at gunpoint to do what you want them to do. Yeah. So being that autocratic leader tends to favour you more in the long run, as opposed to being more of a dictator type. Give an example. When I was at school, had an art teacher. She was a great art teacher, but she was almost like she was military. I'd never met a woman like her. She was similar to Miss Trunchbull from Matilda. Yeah.
That's a blast from the past. Yeah.
But so, because obviously I don't think Miss Trunchbull was ex-military, but she was the shot put athlete, fictitious, and she was no bullshit, yeah? But she was a dictator. But the way in which this teacher was with me, she was quite ruthless and harsh to people. She goes, I'm firm but fair. Like, I'll be really fair and we'll have a good relationship if you just respect me. That's all I ask for, yeah? And I really liked her style, because I was like, yeah, like when everyone is doing as you ask, you're actually really fair and you're a nice person. We have great lessons here. We learn a lot and enjoy it. Take the piss. Then she changed it very quickly. And I felt that worked rather than just being one way or the other. Being too soft, she'd been walked all over. Being too hard, people would have been scared of her, or they would have just challenged her more and more and more and more. And there'd be more backlash as a result. So I would have considered her now like an autocratic leader, because she was firm but fair and listened.
Yeah.
Listened,
It's a fine balance, isn't it? The dictator, that style, if you want to call it that, there's a time and a place for that. And those times, and the times should be very short.
Yeah,
they
brief.
should be extremely limited. They should be for specific purposes. And once that purpose is fulfilled, either you switch out of that style or you switch the person out.
Yeah.
And
it's
you
like
can
being a parent, isn't it?
I've
got a 4-year-old. You have children?
Yeah, I've got 2 children,
Yeah, how old are they?
16 and 19.
Okay, so they're out of that toddler stage. But I'm sure they still challenge you sometimes, perhaps. And you probably remember times when they were younger, like my boy. There's one moment you've got to be firm with them, then switch back to fair very quickly, because there's an element of fear if you're seen as scary or too harsh to them. And again, with the fairness, you can't be too soft all the time, because they'll walk all over you. So a similar scenario with being a parent, I think it's a good comparison for how you need to be. I have to be like that with my son. He knows when he's overstepped the mark, and when he hasn't, we're all good. Same thing working my team in the film. I'm a producer. I'm a leader and coordinator of many, many people. And I can't just be one way all the time. I've got to switch between two constantly. If I switch to a dictator and say it's my way or the highway, they'll quickly walk. People don't want to work with people like that unless they're being paid a lot of money. Then they'll keep their mouth shut, shall we say? Or there's different aspect to it.
Yeah. How did you end up getting into film then and filmmaking?
Well, I've always been a fan of films. I'd probably say my most earliest research was when I was a teenager. I used to go to a secondhand CD and video shop, and I'd look for Jackie Chan films. I don't know how I discovered him. Yeah, I don't know how I discovered him, but there was something about him. We spoke about Bruce Lee, but Jackie was my pure inspiration for getting into action films.
Yeah.
This is how I've started the whole process of being a producer. I'd try and find his old stuff that was dubbed or subtitled, because I found that the choreo and the stories were actually very good. But a lot of people didn't want to watch them because they wanted it in English. Yeah. I didn't care. I was like, this is interesting stories, interesting choreo that I haven't seen before in any Western film, at least. So I'm going to watch it, enjoy it, and study it. And that was probably as young as 12 or 13. And I'd buy these old VHS videos, which for some viewers who may be younger, that's how we used to watch films, as you remember.
Yeah.
Um, and from that, with Bruce Lee, and other similar people from the Asian world, I started to kind of love action films. And then I then discovered Arnold, Stallone, Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, all these types of people from the Western white aspect of action films. Not martial arts, but still action, fighting, blowing stuff up, guns. And for me, from a very young age, I never really played games. I know a lot of people are gamers, but I just liked watching films, and I was fascinated with how they were made. And I used to look at the credits and I'd think, what's that job? What's that job? Like, it's like gaffer or AD or whatever it was. Yeah, yeah,
Fucking gaffer.
yeah.
What?
Or best boy, and all these random titles.
What is Best Boy?
Do you know what? I actually don't remember what best boy is. I think it's something to do with, it's either assisting props or another department. And I'm sorry, I should know this one, but we haven't hired anyone to be the best boy. Yeah. Let me get back to you on that one.
It's old
I'll
school.
find out.
Must probably got
They
ruled out.
still actually think put on some credits. Yeah, because you get grips as well and other people listed. But the best boy one, top of my head, I can't remember. But it's a really random title. Yeah.
Grips is basically fixings, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are so many. There are so many. Obviously, and they credit all sorts of people, even toilet facilities and whatnot. But a lot of the credits I used to study and think, what's that? And back then we didn't have easy access to the internet. It was the dial-up, so it was even harder to research. And I couldn't just go on Google quickly and find everything I wanted like kids can today. So I'd have to try and find out ways. What was that, and how did that help the film? What influence did that have on the film? Was it significant or was it not? I mean, every person in a film has a role to play. Yeah, catering, any facilities, power, fire marshals, whoever it may be. Someone's got
Runner.
Yeah, runner. Everyone's got their part to play. Yeah? Extras as well, who heavily still don't get
I
credited.
prefer the term supporting artist.
Yeah, or supporting artist. Yeah. I use both, interchange them. Yeah.
I'm joking.
But they still don't get the credit they deserve. But so I watch these films from the offset of the movie itself, then I try and look at the back part of it, and I loved the stories. I read. I always was a writer from a young age. I used to write my own stories, so it was like a natural progression, I think, over time. Once I got into the TV and film world, that when the time was right, I was going to write my own stories. I was going to tell my own tales. Yeah, and they were action based.
Did you ever dip your toe into Bollywood?
No.
No.
So Bollywood for me, from what I know, there are incredible productions out there, production companies, and some really skilled and talented performers and crew. Some of the Bollywood actors, past and present, can do so many amazing things. They're actors, they're stuntmen, they're everything. They're jack of all trades, really. But Bollywood, I was warned about very early on not to get involved with.
Why is that?
Because of safety was not always a priority. Yeah, that's the first thing.
That's a good way to put
Yeah,
it.
and we're not even looking at stunts, by the way. It's just general safety and welfare for humans. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was the first thing I was thinking. Not too keen. Second issue, very common, was money. So unfortunately, a lot of people get scammed or don't get paid or have to wait very long periods of time to be paid. Doesn't matter what role you have, crew, cast, supporting artist, whatever it may be. That was a red flag. And then lastly, to do real Bollywood, you have to go to that part of the world. They can have the little productions here in the UK, but it's not the same. Yeah, it's not Bollywood if it's not filmed in that country, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's not Hollywood if it's not filmed in Hollywood. There may be traits of Hollywood, and yes, Hollywood comes here and they use Pinewood and Longcross and other studios. But let's face it, it always looks and is better to an extent when it's filmed in the place where it started. There can be exceptions, yeah. So Bollywood, like for me, there was just a couple of red flags. I don't rule it out as much as I used to. I would like to work with people in that field and from that type of film in their own country one day, and I'd love to immerse myself to see how they do it, but I haven't done
I
it.
feel like there's like this thing at the back of my mind that it says to me, is it a treasure trove of these like productions which in 30, 40, 50, 100 years time, like Nosferatu was back in the 20s and 30s, lost,
Yeah.
and then we'll dig them out down the line and go, oh my god, these are amazing. But that's probably not the case. But on the safety side, there's a song at the start of Inside Man, and it's a song called Chaya Chaya. And I went looking for it. It's from a Bollywood movie, right? And I watched the video. I love this song. It's in my playlist. It's a fucking amazing song. Anyway, you watch the music video. Well, the music video is actually a clip from the feature film that a song features in, which is a Bollywood film originally. But to your point about the safety, the film, the song is it's basic. It's got to be near to 100 performers. You got a male singer and a female singer who are actually singing the song. It's like a ballad together, and you got all these other dancers, and it's filmed on a train, a moving train. The train is moving. There's no safety or nothing, and obviously it's in India, and they're all dancing on the roofs of this train on what do you call them? On all the carriages on top of it while it's moving. And I remember watching that and thinking, there's no way no one died. There's no way no one died. Mate.
Someone got injured.
Someone, at the very least, someone got injured making this movie because they're jumping up in the air and all this stuff. It's mental. Not one or two of them got, I say up to 100, maybe up to 50 on it. Bonkers.
But they are similar to Asians in the sense, like the Chinese, Japanese, Hong Kong, Korean, Indonesian areas where they have no fear. They're just like, we'll just do it. We don't care. They don't have the red tape in the UK. So if you look at the old Jackie Chan films, sometimes he was asked about the stunts he did. They said, do you know, have a double? He said, what's a double? What are you talking about? Or what safety did you have? Stunt coordinator, like, what's that? We just did these things because it's written in script, and if I could physically do it, I would do it. Yeah, I hurt myself. It is what it is. Bollywood the same. I really respect the Bollywood people for what they do because they have no fear. But like I said, from a Western mindset, it's very unnerving because ultimately it's all about safety. And their productions is mainly music orientated, but like you mentioned, the choreo and stuff that's involved, there's so many moving components and people, unfortunately, it's too dangerous. So I wouldn't want to be associated with it because I'd want to condense it and change it. But then they would say, but that's not Bollywood. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to change what they know and what they love. And I have watched some films. I've been to India a few times. I've got Indian friends. I've watched them. Some of them are really cool. Like actually really good. Some of them are terrible. The same thing could be said in the UK market, American market, European market. And I really rate them, and I think, yeah, they've got no fear, they're brave, they're talented, like they're multi-talented. Like I said, most of these actors are also stunt people. They're probably more skilled stunt-wise than some English people, but on paper they're not. Because they have different regulations and whatnot. But yeah, it's something maybe years in the future, but not for now.
So how do we get into that? Oh yeah, you were talking about Jackie Chan movies. And I asked about Bollywood because I was saying, how did you get into filmmaking? Yeah, pick that back up wherever you remember stopping. Where was that?
Just taking inspiration from those early films I watched, and he was young as well, Jackie, 20s.
Okay.
And
what did he do before that? Do you know?
He was an extra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, supporting artist. He's famously in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay.
He gets hit by Bruce Lee, and he actually gets hit.
Oh, right.
Like again, another type of stunts where in the UK we wouldn't allow that. There's no contact, but in the Asian market, even I think some productions still now, they like a little bit of contact to have that sound.
It makes sense.
Rather than you can have the recoil sound.
Do you remember Ong Bak?
Yes.
What a film! What a film that was. I need to watch it. I think 2012 that came out, maybe, or maybe earlier. But I remember that being awesome. But there was full contact in that. But they were cleverly hidden pads, weren't they? Even on the heads,
But then Jackie and his team would have used those, so they really got hit. And people say frown upon that, but it's like they want to say it more authentic. How authentic and real do you want it to be? The audience like things that are as real as they can be. That's why in my first film, this new film, we're using as many special effects we can through makeup and props and prosthetics rather than just relying on VFX, which is what a lot of people do, or AI now. We will avoid that as much as we can. We want the choreo to look real, the makeup to look real, the prosthetics to look real, as much realism as possible, rather than just making it so safe that it looks like they're scared to touch each other, and yeah, just all brushed over with computer images, CGI.
Yeah, it does seem lazy now, but the reality is it's cheaper, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, and
But that doesn't always sell. And we can look at 5 to 10 years now of certain films, particularly in the Marvel franchise, that are flopping because of that laziness. Yeah.
I've never been a fan of those anyway, to be
No.
honest. Never been a fan of them anyway.
But, I was in Ant-Man 3. We shot 4 or 5 weeks of this battle, epic battle, loads of fight choreo. It was really, really good. I can sound biased, but objectively, it was some of the best choreo I've ever seen in my life on any film in this country. Yeah, all cut.
Why? What was
Don't know.
so good about it?
Just because of so there was people coming down on wires. There were people jumping off from like 10-meter cranes onto airbags while shooting. We had people fighting on the ground. We had fire. We had water. Every type of obstacle or dangerous object in your way, or person or people, were there. Many different types of weapons. People using like staffs. There was guns. There was stuff going everywhere. There was like the special effects teams, firing the cannons. It was chaos, organized chaos, but visually it looked amazing because it wasn't just boring choreo and then use CGI, fake magic, fake powers, whatever. Yeah, it was actual just raw fighting and people just getting messed up and hurting themselves. People did hurt themselves. They cut all of it.
Why?
Every part. And what annoying was some of the wire work was really impressive as well.
Why did they cut it though?
Don't know. You don't know what they're like in the room with the editing, yeah? And they replaced it all with VFX.
Really?
Ships shooting lasers.
Oh god.
And it's like, okay, bless you.
Me.
You think to yourself, maybe they didn't think it was flowing well with the rest of the story, but they removed the human element of the film. There was too much of just VFX.
Yeah.
People in ships and lasers. And action films always have an element of combat. Any action film you watch, you will see someone fighting or people fighting hand to hand with weapons or firearms or science fiction firearms, yeah? At least once. So to make a film where that is not seen at all, apart from the main actors having a crap little fight at the end, one-on-one, is really disappointing. And you think to yourself, well, I think to myself, that's not an action film. Personally.
Yeah. Well, one of the big criticisms of the new Gladiator, which is, from what I've seen, it's got mega mixed reviews, and I haven't seen it. But I looked up this scene. I googled about this scene when I heard about it, and it's a scene where they're in the Colosseum. Obviously, they're scrapping, but they filled the Colosseum with water, and it's ships and sharks.
That's right. Yeah.
And when you were talking, I was thinking, well, probably one of the reasons that scene has been particularly called out as nonsense is because apparently they did do this, right? Historically, apparently there have been records of them doing this kind of thing, recreating naval battles in the Colosseum, right? And how true that is, I don't know. But I think part of the problem with the B is, one, it's not people are tuning into Gladiator for after the first Gladiator expectations, but two, it had to have been CGI'd, which almost makes it worse.
Yep.
You go, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And it doesn't even look real.
No.
People's eyes are so attuned to it right now. AI isn't at the place right now where you can completely convince someone it isn't AI, So maybe, I get it. Yeah.
His name's gone out of my head, the director. I was trying to remember.
Was it not Ridley Scott?
It's Ridley Scott.
Ridley
Yeah.
Scott,
I thought so, yeah.
I'm sure it was.
I either read or heard him commenting on that negative feedback saying, why are people so against it? We don't have to be 100% accurate historically. We need to still entertain. So that's his attitude, yeah.
But the thing is, he's doing the sequel to Gladiator.
Yeah,
it's always going to be how often the sequels to mega
and the
films
sequel's such a
pull it
long
off.
gap as well. But I mean, I haven't seen it either like you. But when I heard and saw the scenes of that, like on YouTube, I saw like little snippets
of the Gladiator
that scene,
2,
of that scene with the water and sharks. I just thought it's just stupid. it's adding something in that, in my opinion, is not necessary.
Mm.
Some could argue, but that's action. That's more interesting and entertaining. You're like, yeah, but it's not real. But then others would say, but a lot of what's in films isn't real now. And say, that's also true. But that is so obscure and random to obviously the first one. They could argue, well, it's a different film. Is it standalone?
Mm.
I don't know. But I'd ask, why would you just not put in better fight choreo? Because that's what it's all about, being a gladiator. You should focus on what's most important. Great Colosseum fights. Man on man, perhaps with a lion or whatever else may be in between, yeah? But yeah, the water thing, even if it did happen, I would have liked to have seen them doing something with real water, at least when the time comes. I watch it, so when I do watch it, I'd prefer to see real water. Yeah, maybe real sharks is not possible, but at least have some water, so there's a little bit of danger. Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember when we watch action films and films that are heavy in stunts, there's an element of danger. That performer or those performers are at risk of injury or death. So that raises the stakes. That naturally gets the audience more excited. The whole Colosseum industry back in the day then was to distract the people what's going on outside of the Colosseum, yeah, but also to entertain them. And it was knowing that person may die and they're hurt. People kind of get off on that for some reason. So same scenario of the action film, they could have raised stakes more by not having that and having maybe something different with the fight choreo, and then the gladiators. I'd say more fictitious, but that, like you said, it looks shit from the trailers and it sounds rubbish as well. But we could be surprised when we watch it. Who knows?
Maybe I'll watch
Who
it.
knows?
Maybe
I
I'll
think
watch it, or
we
maybe I'll
can't
watch a Bollywood.
completely disregard it, because it might actually work. But usually, what I've seen from films where they've added unnecessary CGI and VFX, where you think this is too random, it ruins the whole flow and pacing through the film and the whole narrative. I just think that's so disjointed. You've ruined it for me now. Because remember, you want to keep the person in the story, and that they want to be believing. They want to switch off for 2 hours or 2.5 hours from the real world and believe that is real and happening. Yeah. When I or will see things like that, takes me out of it. So I don't believe it anymore. Denzel Washington as well. I've heard he doesn't even try to do another accent. He does his American.
Denzel.
Yeah. He doesn't even try to have a different accent. And it takes you out of the belief of the story and the character. If you I think he's from New York or something like that, yeah? But his voice
Which film's this?
in
Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2, yeah.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course he's in that, isn't
he's
he?
in it,
Sorry,
yeah,
I wondered how you did a tangent.
No,
I thought you got off a tangent on Denzel Washington.
He's in it, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah. It's a mega actors in it. It's a big actors
I know,
in it. It's like,
but then people would argue again about the woke thing, saying that a black man wouldn't have been in that position either. So, but ignore that for a moment. I have heard the scenes.
It's Hollywood these days.
I know, but I have heard the scenes of him in it, and I think to myself, you're lazy, man, as an actor. Or Ridley was as well. Not guiding you to say, let's try and change your voice slightly, because when I hear that strong American accent, I'm personally not believing that character and story anymore.
Well, hang on.
As an individual.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
However, Gladiator 1, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe his accent was different to his normal accent, but it certainly wasn't Italian.
No. But it wasn't a strong American accent.
Same with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a strong American accent. Russell Crowe's wasn't a strong Australian accent.
It was neutral.
Neutral.
I think.
Do you reckon they were making an effort to do neutral? Yeah. Yeah, I suppose so.
I think they were.
I suppose so. Yeah,
If I was casting something
makes
like
sense.
that, I would not want to sound RP. I would not want to sound Southern English or Essex.
RP.
Received pronunciation, which is a form of
received pronunciation.
Yeah, well-spoken English.
Well-spoken English.
Yeah. So
received pronunciation.
Yeah, RP. So in the acting world,
yeah,
that is a preferred style of speaking because it's clear.
Give me an example.
Well, it's not.
If you can.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
Yeah.
We're not going to go OTT like that, but we're not going to use any slang. We're not going to drop letters. We're not going to speak in a dialect or accent of a region. We're very clear. It's not the Queen's language, not the Queen's English, but I would say it's a slightly upper middle class
I
accent.
get it.
Yeah, not oh my god, I'm made in Chelsea, like OTT.
It's the way you should speak when you walk into an interview. You speak in proper English,
essentially, yeah,
not mental though.
Yeah, but you can't hear in that voice any dialects or different accents within it. It's a very clear. Sometimes when I speak on camera, the odd time I might say a word and someone go, "I can hear your Essex there." The odd twang, yeah. So when I did last year, I did like a tutorial video for like a business company. I had to walk on a treadmill, and I had to be very careful in reading the script how I pronounced every single word to not let any word creep in.
What were you teaching?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not allowed to say.
That's fine.
It's like a research thing.
Okay.
But it was harder because I was walking at the same time on an incline.
Yeah, why were you on the... That's the question I really want to ask.
Because they wanted... Because what they're doing, they're going around the cameras and they're going to, with the VFX, make me look like I'm somewhere else. Walking.
Okay, right. Yeah.
So I was focusing on not tripping on the treadmill whilst reading the auto cue and also speaking in an RP accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, for most roles I go for, they say try and do your natural accent, but just tone it down a bit. So referencing to Gladiator with Russell, for example, he goes, "Are you not entertained?" That famous scene, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't hear any Australian there.
No.
Personally.
No, yeah.
So for me, watching that action film, I believe it. I believe him. Yeah. I believe he is that man.
Yeah, that's an interesting point on that.
Whereas with Denzel, haven't seen it, but I've seen the clips of him. I think that's just lazy. This whole thing sounds lazy and looks lazy. And it's
a bit arrogant as well, isn't it?
It's a bit arrogant. It's being that.
How about play the fucking part?
That elite of your role. But the thing is, we don't know if he
Gervais does the same thing, though, doesn't he?
Sorry?
Gervais does his own accent, doesn't he?
That's true, yeah.
But Gervais is a different kettle of fish, arguably. He's a comedian, not a actor.
No, but we don't know if Denzel was being a diva there and saying, "I'm not changing my accent." Or we don't know if Ridley and the casting team just said, "No, it's fine. We want you to do that." Yeah, we can speculate, but as a viewer, for me, and a writer and a producer, when I make things and put people in it and myself, I do not want them at any moment to be taken out of the story because they hear or see something that makes them not believe it anymore. Yeah, and the way people speak sometimes can be a big factor. So in my first film, everyone apart from one person spoke in an English accent as gangsters, like British gangsters. The other person spoke an American accent. He did it well, so it worked. If he hadn't have done it well, I guarantee you, everyone has said that guy took me out of the story because his accent was shit. Yeah, because people tend to hone in on something they've noticed that's not good, or it might be an editing mistake, or it might be some poor audio somewhere. And when it comes to sound, I mean, if you look, the whole world's based on audio now, yeah, and visuals. If it's poor, you're not interested, are you? You're turned off from it. Yeah. It's the same thing with filmmaking. It's got to be solid. And speaking about those actors with the voices and how they speak, I think it's important if you're English to do RP or neutral of your own accent, opposed to unless you're very good at doing other accents. But those accents can't be too obscure. So for my new film, which is obviously an action horror zombie film, we've got a tactical team in it. They're all English. They're not going to try to be American, because if their dialogue at any point weakens or they confuse words from the American military to English military, even if you're not from that background like yourself, as an audience member, you can think, I've watched enough films where they give that spiel, the radio talk and whatnot.
Yeah.
It will take you out of that moment and that scene, and you'll be distracted. And I don't want that. When people watch it, I want them to believe everything.
Radio chatter is one that is consistently military or tactical radio chatter is consistently messed up on films, like bad. And I think most of the time you get the layman wouldn't sort of recognize it, or maybe something to do. And the way I think it gets messed up is that, yes, it's formal communication most of the time, formal way of communication. But the mistake that gets made is they speak it formally. They speak it formally, and it's not spoken formally. The cadence is fast. The cadence, that tactical a tactical radio conversation is going on, the cadence is that the cadence of you and I chatting now.
Yep.
It's still formal. It has all the starts and the stops, and ideally in that situation, it's not a chat that you say only what needs to be said and nothing more. And you start the transmission, you end the transmission, whatever, in a formal way, depending on what you're doing. But the mistake that gets made is when it's being spoken on screen, or if you're listening to something, it's spoken in formal, steady cadence and measured, and that's not how it's done in real life. Because in real life, these people speak like that all the time. It's like I mean, and when it's most notable that they get it wrong is when that formal, sort of artificially slowed down way of speaking, which wouldn't be normal in real life, that tempo does not match the tempo of the scene.
Yeah.
A fight scene going on, or whatever, some scene going on where there's a chat, but there's tension building. That radio chat is very rarely happening when there's no tension, and you cut to the chat, and it's like they don't. It's nothing. There's no. You can't hear the tension. It slows it right down. Gets.
But
really
this is the war between military advisors on a production, and the writers or the directors, because they want things to look and sound Hollywood. The military advisor wants it to be true to real world. Sometimes they don't always marry up, so they have to merge them. Yeah,
and it's difficult to do.
And if you're an actor who's not very experienced with playing a military role, makes it harder. Yeah. But myself and the military advisor we've got on our production, Benjamin Leonidas, he's got a firearm training facility in Wales. Just give him a little shout out. He's ex-military, and he's also a performer for TV and film sometimes, as a producer.
Leonidas is a surname. That's an Ali surname, isn't it? Okay, that's an Ali surname. It's a cool surname.
And we've reworked the script recently because myself and the directors are the three writers of the script. Even I missed a few key buzzwords in the radio chat, and Ben was like, no, we need to change that. He wouldn't say that. Or this word is better there instead of that way around. And it's these little nuances and little tweaks. And then when I read it out loud and then asked the actors to read those bits, one is in the military, by the way, from the cast, the others aren't. I was like, yeah, we've now got the stakes, the pace, the tension, but also the authority and the decisiveness, what I want to hear from those soldiers. So hopefully when the audience is, and they literally believe they are soldiers, and people like yourself who are trained ex-military, they'll think, yeah, they've done well there. That sounds good. They've spoken well there. And I'm not thinking, oh, this is a bunch of actors pretending to be soldiers. Because that's what we don't want.
To be honest, I was very lucky to be able to advise on the film Kajaki, and at the very end of Kajaki, when the credits are rolling, there's script, there's a radio transmissions being played, and there's people, and I'm one of the voices, and other guys are the voices. So I wrote that script for the end of it.
Okay,
and I got my friends who were serving or ex-military to do the recordings. I played Zero, as in the call sign Zero, and they played different call signs. Now, I'm trying to think how many guys got to do it. One of them could not do it. This is a military commander, and he could not say it in a convincing way like he would say it if he's on the ground.
Yeah.
And looking back, and the point of making it is super difficult to do. And looking back, what I should have done is, instead of scripting the conversation, I should have said to him, okay, you're speaking to Zero. You need to get this location from Zero, or you need to give Zero a 9-liner Kazabak details. Okay, that's what you want to do. I shouldn't have done it word by word. So that's what you're doing. And he would have gone, I got to give this 9-liner. Okay, what's 9-liner information? Give him the details on the 9-liner, like he would do on the ground.
Yeah.
He would have just gone, yeah, hello Zero, this is 1-4 Bravo, and spoke it off exactly like you do it. Because I'd done it word by word. He was, paper up with the microphone there going, da 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 da. That must have done about 20 takes, and it was only about a 10-second. It's extremely difficult. It's
not easy.
No,
and people think it is.
It must be the same for reading. It must be the same for reading anything. I suppose on camera and trying to do it in a natural, like lines, for example.
Yeah. There's so many ways you can say words anyway, let alone military standard over the radio in particular, and it's everyone's interpretation. But that's why, obviously, the read is good because it helps people listen and refine and bounce with each other. We've got our first rehearsal on Sunday, and our military advisor's coming down, and he's going to help the team, the tactical team.
Who is that?
Benjamin.
Oh, Leonidas, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming down from Wales. He's going to help the tactical team move and maneuver and the posture and expressions and the way they're handling firearms.
What's his background?
He's ex-military, but I can't remember. He was in America quite a lot, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, sorry,
what he was doing. But yeah, he's our armor as well. But he's going to come down. He's going to drill with them, and he's going to go over the lines with me together. Sorry, but for them, just to help them. But luckily, the leader of the squad, because it's called Dead Zero, by the way, and they are the Zero Squad. He's in the military.
Oh, cool.
So he's going to have that natural presence.
That's cool.
And that speech and tone with them, which will help them naturally. But then having Ben there as well, who understands the jargon, but he also knows how to set it for Hollywood, is going to be the game changer. Because we also don't want them to sound like boring, monotone soldiers. There's got to be some acting as well.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got to get it right. Because these guys, not all of them, and I can tell you a little bit without spoiling it, the majority of them will become zombies. So, but when they're around as humans, they've got to sell it. So, but they're getting the right help there, and I'm confident they'll do very well. Yeah.
So, what stage is the movie at then?
So we're about to start.
You haven't done any shooting yet whatsoever?
No. So rehearsals start this Sunday. We've done a few table reads, and we start shooting in February half term.
Okay.
Yeah. So 6 days, and we'll wrap at the end of February, and then it'll be ready by May.
Oh, you're going to do it all? It's a 6 day shooting.
Yeah, 2 half days, and then four others.
Wrap it.
Yeah. Well, my first film we did in 3.
Really?
Yeah. And
what was the first film?
It was an action film, gangster film
called
Jackal and Hyde.
Okay.
Yeah, it's won 2 awards so far, and it's up for more nominations this year because we submitted some. We wrapped on that one last May, and then we obviously submitted for festivals this year and last year. It won 2 awards, had quite a lot of selections and nominations last year. And there's a few others that weren't. They don't basically go live till this year, like from now to May. So we still might have some more awards there, hopefully. But that was a 12-minute short, very much like Snatch. My inspiration there being Guy Ritchie. I like his style of film. It was very British, rough, dark, grungy.
He was a breath of fresh air when he came about. What was his first movie? Lock, Stock, was it?
Was it Lock, Stock his first?
Lock, Stock. Well, the first one that broke through.
A bigger
Lock,
one.
Stock, just a breath of fresh air, and the amount of it just sort of opened up a whole. No, it catapulted that whole genre into a different, into proper professional, Hollywood interest stuff.
Yeah. I didn't mention him as being inspiration, but he is as a director. I very much like his style and draw inspiration from it. My first film definitely took elements of that. We actually managed to secure a unique location in Hemel Hempstead. It's a disused cow farm. Have you seen Snatch? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Do you remember the pig farm with brick top? Very much like that.
Okay.
So it was it looked great and it was unique. So it really sold the film well. And
this is for Jackal and Hyde.
Jackal and Hyde, yeah. The locations we have for Dead Zero, again, Hemel Hempstead and Hertfordshire area. I'm not going to disclose them now, but they have never been seen before on TV and film. And I have access to that exclusively through family. So I'm very lucky and fortunate there because it helps us to stand out more in a crowded market of indie filmmakers because they're all using stuff that's been seen before. It's been hired before. You can make things look different, but usually people go, oh, I filmed there, or I know where that is. When I've got these unique locations, people are like, where's that? That looks really cool. And we really want to stand out there with our locations and what we present. And we did that with Jackal and Hyde, and we believe we do it again with Dead Zero. But yeah, Jackal and Hyde was an action film where essentially myself and my wife on screen, gangsters, were kidnapped by a rival gang. They're torturing us, trying to find information from us. My team of men arrive on site, and the whole film begins to be like a cat and mouse chase where my men are working their way through all these henchmen, killing them. Very great, very cool choreo, to save me and my wife and get us out. Because obviously we're their bosses, yeah? So they've got to save us and make sure we don't die. And it ends in a 12 versus 6 brawl in a barn, fight to the death.
Mhm.
So it was pretty epic, yeah. 2 days of filming for that. Like, you can imagine the amount of we had to capture with all those people fighting at once. Hand to hand, knives, bricks, all sorts of things like that. I'm not going to give away too much still. I'd rather people comment and say they want to see a private link, because it's not in the public domain still, because it's still under the privacy guidelines of the film festivals. You cannot have it on the public domains. So if they
Can I get a link for you for the patrons? Is that all right?
Yeah. So if anyone wants to watch it, I can send you the private link, and then you can watch the film, see what you think. But yeah, it's a good old fashioned gangster film with brutal fighting. So if you're squeamish, you might want to watch it. We've got prosthetics in it as well. A lot of practical SFX. So there's only minimal VFX. A few blood splatters here and there with CGI. The rest is amazing makeup.
If that was your first movie, right?
Yeah.
If that was your first one, and and before, like, we were talking about, getting into filmmaking and being inspired by Guy Ritchie, but also the Asian martial arts film. Okay. How have you ended up making a zombie action horror?
Because horrors are very popular and they have a cult following. People love their horrors. I don't know if you're aware that when the Disney universe recently, in the last 2 or so years, became like, the trademark for all the characters expired. So they've now made Winnie the Pooh 1 and 2, the horror films. Are you aware of them?
No.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, the horror film.
Yeah, and they've just done Neverland as well, like Peter Pan. And there's a Pinocchio coming out, or has come out. There's a company in America called ITN Distribution, and they're basically funding this chap in the UK. I can't remember his name. They gave him a bunch of money and said, okay, you've got a script, you want to use these entities, and because legally you're allowed to now. Disney don't own them anymore. So he made all these horrors, and they've been really successful with not much money. I think 50K or less for his first film, and they've turned over a few million, and he's building and building. And the directors who worked me on Jackal and Hyde, they really want to do a horror as well. And I said to them, more than happy to do it, but it must be action still, because that is my strength, and that is my main interest and passion. So I was like, we combine the action with the horror. So it's not a scary horror, but it's very gruesome. You can imagine the type of things we're going to be doing on this film with the zombies. Yeah, it's quite nasty and gnarly, and so that's kind of like their influence there. And I said, okay, well, let's have a chat then, and we'll brainstorm some ideas for a script, and then we kind of merged all what we're thinking together. And we've now got our action horror zombie film as a result.
I'm hot and cold with horrors. I think it's just because I get really uncomfortable if I'm feeling fear from watching a film. But my granddad actually was in a couple of Hammer horrors back in the day.
Okay.
And I say back in the day. So I should be into it. But they were like old ones where you don't really get scared. The old ones kind of chuckle along at them. But they are super popular, which surprises me because they're not comfortable to watch.
No,
they're not comfortable to watch.
But I think people are desensitized nowadays.
It's probably true. Yeah,
they're desensitized to porn, to horror, to anything, because they see so much of it online. It's like a norm. It's a standard thing. Whereas people were once more sheltered. I'm not saying you was, but I also don't really like horrors either, because they make me overthink, particularly if they're ones where someone's very calculated and sadistic and just pure evil.
Give me an example of one.
Hostel.
Oh God.
Or Saw.
Oh God.
Or
yeah,
Saw.
grim.
It's
grim movies.
It's the nasty evil mindset of what the horrible things they do to those people. I don't like, because it makes me personally overthink, not trust people as a result. Yeah.
Not Kathy Burke. Who was it in Hostel?
I can't remember.
Kathy
such a long
Burke.
time
What am I
ago.
talking about? What's her name?
But these films I don't like. But the zombie films I never found scary, because, as you know, there's different types of horror films. Yeah. I personally found them scary. I always found them funny, particularly if the actors weren't very good at it. So I'd analyse their performance as a zombie. Or I really liked the level of makeup and effort they done for prosthetics to make it like someone's head was smashed in or ripped apart.
What would you say is the best horror movie out there?
What ever made? That's a tough question.
Did you watch the remade Nosferatu yet?
No,
I haven't watched it.
I haven't seen.
Have you seen the original?
No.
Oh, mate. What?
But again,
Horrors.
But I'm not a horror fan. So I've stepped out of my comfort zone to create something new because as a producer, I want to tell stories in different mediums. Yeah. So we've done our gangster one first. Now we're doing horror. Next we'll do fiction or science fiction or fantasy. We're going to cover different types of storytelling. Yeah. So I'm not the sort of person who go, oh, I want to watch this.
Well,
horror.
the interesting thing about Nosferatu is that there's probably two old ones that I always recommend people to watch, just in general. And these are silent movies. Nosferatu was a silent 20s.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the story of the original Nosferatu?
I'm aware of it. Yeah, but I've never watched it.
Do you know the story of it though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other one is Metropolis. And what fascinates me about them is they're very different. Like, you're not going to find anything like that these days. But I think that I find them mesmerizing, and I think the reason is because I'm so used to, I watch a movie or piece of entertainment. It is multi-layered, it's trying to influence me on multiple levels, from the words coming out of the mouth to the what's being presented visually on screen to the track that is playing at the same time. And when you look at Metropolis or Nosferatu or any other silent movie for that matter, they've got a reduced set of mediums to work with. They've got what you're looking at on screen and some music, right? And then they got words, which will probably come after the scene is even played.
Yeah.
So I think they had to pay more attention, or we pay less attention now to what is visually on screen. It's like less important because there's more because there's more things we can influence the viewer with.
Yeah.
There's
more filler, basically.
Importance of each one is sort of less. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but that's like you can watch a theatre production and it's one person on stage, and if they're good enough at what they're doing, the performance, the minimal sound or music can be intense enough and engaging for you to be locked into it and completely amazed. And you reference obviously those films, it's the same thing. They had less to work with, so they amplified everything else. And they were very
amplified.
Very good at it.
Yeah.
If you can make someone that scared from so little other depth of production, because they didn't exist then, as you said, those other components you could add in to make it more interesting for the viewer, they didn't exist. They had to amplify everything else, and that showed true skill and talent. And it's more raw. Essentially, yeah. In my film, it is going to be slightly overwhelming for the viewer because there's a lot going on, but we are still going to try and simplify it as best we can, because you don't need to add too much in. And I think obviously because there's that choice to do that now, and if the people got the budget to add more in, they will. But that's again lazy.
I think it ties in again to what you were saying earlier about the the special effects and stuff. You watch the old films, pick an old action movie, pick an old war movie, pick an old battle movie, flipping heck, Spartacus, or Jason and the Argonauts, and Jason and the Argonauts is a bad example, but Spartacus.
I like Jason the Argonauts.
Yeah, I like it, but there's special effects in there, there's skeletons, but big battle scenes, and you watch them now, and all right, they're crudely made films by today's standards, but you would be in awe when you look and you go, holy shit, they got all of those people to choreograph that battle scene. And when it's those ones you can go, if you press pause, and you may have like 50 or 60 people on screen, and you could look at any one of those, decide I'm going to focus on these two people or these 3 or 4 people for the next 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And they're doing a scripted choreograph, and every single pair or every single individual on that screen is doing something in time to order to to whatever they need to do to make the overall picture. And if anyone fucks it up, it could be pretty obvious. If someone's standing there doing nothing like a lemon and everyone else is fighting, someone's going to spot it. And it is something to behold. Again, go back to that. We didn't have the technology we have now. You had to do it the hard way, and they were great at it. But the other thing it does is, I think maybe, and I am not a filmmaker. I've never made any films. So you tell me. When you go into that level of effort and the level of effort to create something like that, I think it sets a different environment on set, and people are more bought into what they're doing. They feel the importance of what they're doing. Everyone knows exactly they've got a super important part to play on that screen at that moment, and that must impact the quality of that production for the viewer and the end result.
Well, because it's more believable.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get me wrong, there are actors
As opposed to some mug being on a blue screen with a bunch of sensors all over him.
I mean, there are references of like Bob Geldof, not Bob Geldof. Why am I mixing them up? Ian McKellen, sorry, yeah. Don't know how I mixed
Bob Geldof and who? Yeah. Who did you mix up? Ian McKellen.
Yeah, okay.
Do that. Yeah,
cut that one. So yeah, Gandalf, right?
Yeah.
Most of his scenes he filmed on his own, in front of a blue screen, and he complains about this. Back then, I've read references and statements from him saying, "How can anyone act like this?
Yeah,
this is not acting." So because he's a theatre man,
yeah,
like Patrick Stewart. He's like, he's disgraced by it and like turned off by it. He goes, "This is not acting. They're not even here. I'm looking at a green silhouette of Elijah Wood, for example, yeah, like Bilbo Baggins or Frodo Baggins, sorry, yeah." And but he pulled it off. I'd have never have detected in his performance that he wasn't with those people in those scenes. But when I've seen the behind the scenes and seen he wasn't with those people, same thing with what was the other chap who was in it who passed away? Was it Reeves or something? You've seen Lord of the Rings films,
yeah.
The guy who turns evil, the wizard. Something, is it Christopher Reeves? He was in Star Wars as well. The other wizard with the long hair. There's only two. Is it Reeves?
In Star Wars?
He's in Star Wars as well. Who was a bad guy? He's like descended from some ruler. He was Dracula. The guy was Dracula.
Oh, Gary Oldman.
No, not Gary Oldman. We'll find him, yeah.
Dracula.
Was he Dracula?
So he's in Lord of the Rings. Well, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. Harry Potter you're talking about?
No, he's only Harry Potter.
Are you talking about Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. It is Christopher.
Oh, Christopher Nolan. No. Oh, shit. No. Oh, no. People are screaming at us right now.
Well, they are screaming.
People are screaming at us right now.
But I'm pretty sure it's Christopher. I don't know why I'm thinking Reeves. It might not be Reeves, but...
Oh, my God.
But I could be completely wrong. But for the viewers, I apologise if you're massive Lord of the Rings fans. I like Lord of the Rings, but I'm not a die-hard fan. But that actor,
Saruman,
the one I'm talking about,
Christopher Lee.
That's
sorry, Christopher Lee. I was close. God bless you up in heaven.
I was close enough, Christopher. He might have been Dracula.
Ex-military.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. He might have been Dracula, but I know he had some very famous roles when he was younger. Yeah. But I'll give you an example for him. He also, when he was filming, sometimes he was in the same continent, and he had to interact with people who weren't there as well. And I didn't see that his performances. I believe they were there. Like, they literally couldn't film.
Is it Christopher Lee?
Yeah. He was in a different country to them, or continent, entirely different time zones, and he had to work with the blue screen, yeah, or the green screen. And so some people can put it off, but ultimately, when you're on a film set and there's as much real stimulus as possible, in terms of props, in terms of costume, in terms of the set itself, and real people there, or at least really cool prosthetics to help you imagine, you're getting a more authentic performance. Because that person can switch on. Even if they're not that experienced at acting, they might be less experienced or not. It's easier to role play when you've got more to work with, yeah? Let's face it. So, for us, we want to add that in, the special effects and the real practical effects, to help those performers, but also for our audience to believe it more. And there's a lot of people nowadays who actually are turned off by heavy VFX. They want to see more of the old ways. If you go back to the 80s, 90s and noughties even, there was still a lot of practical effects used in films. Puppets and, building little miniature sets. Godzilla, the one they did with, what's his name? Guy from Jurassic Park.
Stop testing me with names.
The
guy from Jurassic Park, the newer ones.
In it, the old ones from the 90s.
Oh, English guy.
American. He was
American
in
guy.
Godzilla as well.
American guy. Oh, you mean Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You do mean Jeff Goldblum, don't
yeah,
you?
I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
him. Yeah.
yeah.
But what the point I'm trying to make is they worked in a time where there was more practical effects used in films, and it was more believable. They only used minimum VFX, budget, and lack of technology, so they could only do so much. Yeah. And
The Fly. There's a great.
yeah, there you
What
go.
a movie.
Okay, great. Yeah.
What a
Now,
movie.
some people look back and think it looks crude and crap and shit. But I'll be honest with you, a lot of people would still appreciate more and believe the performance more because there's more to look at and interact with. It's more disgusting or vulgar or whatever. So,
It is disgusting.
yeah, and that's what we want from this film, with the zombie aspect. I don't want you knowing whether you're have trained eye from the industry or you're just a Joe Blogs off the street thinking, oh, God, this is so much CGI. Oh, why can't they use real blood? Because it's so easy now just to use a stock library of just a blood splatter. But it's not real. Like when you see a death or you see someone being eaten alive or whatever it may be, like there's a lot of stunts, by the way, fire, wires, high falls, all sorts of things. Yeah, we want some really nasty looking prosthetics and makeup, and for you as the viewer, even though it might be like, oh, it doesn't look great, you kind of like want more.
Yeah.
Because it looks so real and it looks so realistic. Whereas if it's VFX, you just watch it thinking, that's quite bad, and then just carry on watching. You don't really, you're kind of on autopilot almost. We don't want that. We want to really take you out of your seat, whether you're scared or not, and at least talking about it and thinking, cool, that looked really cool.
Do you know what's gone out the window now? It seems to me it's gone out the window. Just thinking now, I was thinking it'd be great, to film those behind the scenes, how we did it. Those scenes where you're doing the big action and the stunts, the stunt scenes basically. You know what's going out the window now? We don't get any more. You don't see them very often. That you would do. Is the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
and I know they're available on YouTube, for example. But it used to be you buy a DVD, they're on the DVD.
Yeah,
you're gonna watch it on a rainy day.
Comes with it, yeah.
You're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
It should be like you go on the Netflix, cool. Netflix, for example, watch a film, and then it offers you the next episode or the bonus content. Yeah, I wonder why they don't do that.
I mean, some people do. I was towards the end last year, I was on The Witcher season 4, and I was talking to the behind the scenes cameraman for it. So they're still doing it for Witcher at least, because their viewers want to see more. There was a scene we were doing, big battle, and he was like, "Yeah, I've got to get as much as I can," because they want to push that a lot. And I said, "What about bloopers? Mistakes, funny things.
Yeah.
They're forgetting that as well." So in our film, we are going to be doing that.
No, that's good.
So we're doing behind the scenes, so showing some really cool stunts, how it's the setup, the prep, the safety, the briefing, the stunt itself. We're also going to try and capture those natural moments of bloopers where things go wrong and things are funny and silly and embarrassing, because it's like another depth of the whole production. You can kind of warm to it. And again, I'd say to people who are interested in filmmaking or even be involved in TV and film in the future, you can learn a lot from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
When they finally started doing that, because as I mentioned, VHS, that didn't exist then. It was only probably from late 90s, early noughties, that when DVDs came in, they added that as an extra content bonus thing, like you said. I learned a lot from behind the scenes stuff. I watched and analysed that as well, because it's finally seeing a world you never see.
Yeah.
And unless you actually work on a film set ever, whether you're booked as crew, cast, stunts, SA, you never get to see it.
No.
So those little bits where they do BTS for you on TV series and films is gold dust. It may be heavily edited and they don't show you too much, but it's more than you'll see ever, and you can learn from it. And for our viewers, and obviously for people who want to back us and invest and support us with our filmmaking process, we're always going to offer that, with the BTS and bloopers.
Yeah,
because it's cool.
Yeah,
I said you can learn from it.
It is cool, and again, I think it encourages like emotional buy-in from the viewer. I think someone who's who watches a movie or watches a production of any sort, and also gets to see some behind the scenes content. They get to see the actors out of character. They get to see how something was really done.
Yep.
What's clever. I think they're more likely to respond positively more positively to the production than someone who didn't see that stuff, you know?
Or someone who's not necessarily a fan of that genre
Mm.
can get a level of respect they might have had prior. Because I had people watch my first film and say, I don't like action films. And I'm not generalizing. It wasn't just because they're a woman or a man. Some people don't like action and fighting and death and gore, you know? And a lot of people who watched it who aren't fans of that, and they said, as a story and characters and the plot, they liked it. They still didn't like the parts they don't normally like to watch, but they can at least entertain it. And you know you've done something good there, because when you can kind of change someone's views on a genre they're not normally into, and they think it's a good stand. If I take away the stuff I don't like, and just watch it for what it is, and respect and like it, we've done a good job.
Yeah.
And luckily we did that with Jackal and Hyde. I'm hoping to do the same thing here. There may be a bit more standoffish of it, and again, there's an element of age. We only have an adult market, so it's still limited to that. But yeah, who knows? That in the future we can do maybe comedy and maybe some family-related genres where it's more family-friendly, but still have some action. So I'm already thinking about, when I mention action and family aspect, Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, I was exactly the same films in my head when you mentioned it.
Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these two films, if anyone doesn't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously cheesy as hell.
Kindergarten Cops.
Kindergarten Cops. Cheesy as hell, but damn are they funny.
Yeah.
And there's action in there. And it's okay for, I can't remember if they're all PG, but they're not 18. They're not R-rated. So we could still tell funny stories there with action, and comedy.
Yeah. I have got a bunch of questions here from the patrons who are watching this live streaming. I want to start on these.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because got a bunch of them, and they've been getting submitted since we started this conversation. So we're going to go back a couple of topics, but it'll pull us back onto films, right?
Cool.
All right. So the first one is what makes a director great? Who's the best director you've worked with? Two parts to that question. 2 parts.
What makes you a good director?
What makes a director
What makes
great?
a director great? I think they have a vision. Obviously, how they see their story coming to life. But when they're so in their head, they can't take any influence from anyone else beneath them, because we have what's called a first AD in the industry, which is the assistant to the director. If they can't work with that person, they will not be a good director. Because again, when we mentioned about obviously how you work with people and being autocratic and not dismissive, I believe that makes them a good director. And I saw that in House of Dragon last year, not last year, year before, season 3, with the first AD and the director working very well together. And I heard a few things, they were like, disagreeing with each other, but ultimately they have a shared vision and they want to help each other and support each other. And the first AD wants to support the director's vision, but he gave him great feedback and advice and ideas, and he accepted it. And actually, when they then implemented that into our scene from what we were doing prior, I then observed and thought, this is a lot better. But it could have been, no, I want it this way and this way only. Don't talk to me. Let me do it. And they could just keep saying, go again, go again, go again. Yeah. You remember, these people are humans, so they have to also care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridley Scott is a good example of someone who doesn't care about anyone but himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I know people who know him personally. Yeah. I know people work with him personally on Gladiator.
Yeah.
Bad things happened. Yeah. Dangerous things happened. And the welfare was not there for people working for him, whatever level they were. That's not a good director. When a director is taking risks for his vision, as opposed to the safety and well-being, happiness of everyone who works for them, that's not a good director. So yeah. The best director I said was that one on House of Dragon.
Yeah.
On the second unit for the stunts, not the dialogue director. Different ones.
Well, I was on. So I mentioned the first and last production, which is Slow Horses, and the director changed after season 1 to season 2. I was on.
Yeah, it's not uncommon.
Took part in season 1 and season 2. Season 1 was a guy called James Horse, and unbeknown to me, it was a great atmosphere to work on. I thought it was great, and I was just an extra. Right? I didn't know anything different, but it was great. to work on. You know, he interacted with us really well. For the military of us, if it was a military scene, he would come. I was one of maybe 2 or 3 of us there. Military. He would ask, what do you think about this guy? It's the fucking essays. He go, what do you think about this guy? Is this how it would really be done? Or if he saw one of us going, he would come over and go, okay, how would you do it? What should be done differently? And I remember just another little anecdote about him. There was an ex-military guy. There was a serving military guy there with us called, what was his name? I think his name was Bally. This guy was a right white boy. And it was like 2 a.m. We were doing some shoots somewhere. I can't remember. It was around North London somewhere. And we hadn't had like a hot brew for hours. And the director James was shuffling past quick to go from whatever he was doing to go to the next one in between shoots. And he was obviously busy. And Bally like, excuse me, boss. Yeah. You haven't had a brew for ages. Can we get a brew, please? You're like, fucking hell, mate. You don't... That's the director. And James went off, got his brews, and brought the brews back himself. And as you know, there's like, and this big budget season, you know, I think there's people he could go and do it, but he did it himself. Like, he recognised that, okay, these people who are part of this, they have had a brew, that's wrong. Yeah. I'm going to go and get them that. And like, and that was incredible. Season 2 was different.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's what we would like all directors to be, but there are still people and humans, and they don't always have that etiquette or even the selflessness thinking. You know, they're so wrapped up in what they're doing, they don't think of anyone else but themselves. But you know, that goes back down to the same thing of what makes a good director. A good director knows it's like a GP to your patron. This is the key way to answer it a bit more. Yeah, a GP knows a little bit of everything. Yeah, to an extent, and they may specialize in one area for referral. A director should know a little bit about every person's role on a film set. So when they're talking to them, they have at least they can grasp a little bit of what that lighting man needs to do to help that scene for that director, what the sound person needs to do, what the SA needs to be doing. Is that SA happy? Okay. Have they gone to the toilet? It's little things like that. Yeah. Welfare. They know a little bit about everyone and they try to be cool with everyone. If they try to create a persona that they cannot be spoken to, no one can challenge them, and they're elitist, that is not what we want.
No.
So like I said, a good director is someone who is everyone's friend. Yeah. Because ultimately, without you lot working for him, he's got no film or no TV series, or maybe, or she.
Okay. Have you
ever...
ever...
good to hear, though, from that first one. Your first director on Slow Horses. It's good to hear that they did.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. James Hall. Shout out to James Hall. Okay. Have you ever experienced bullying in the film industry?
Not directly, but I have witnessed it time and time again.
Would you say it's an issue?
It is an issue, and it has been going on for decades. The main issue is with essays, unfortunately. Yeah, there's also a new. Well, I say new.
What do you mean the main issues with essays?
So it's an us and them mentality.
Yeah.
So actors, stunt performers, and high-level crew tend to most time look at essays as nobodies. No skill, no talent, maybe even stupid. Yeah. When in the grand scheme of things, that's not the case. Yeah.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. Unfortunately, there are some instances in different productions where essays let themselves down.
Yeah.
They'll leak stuff. They'll be argumentative. They'll be unreliable. They'll damage costume. They'll steal things. But that is an individual. It's not a collective behavior of everyone. So, and when I've been on productions, I've been part of higher ranking divisions and they've been slagging them off to me, or I hear them speaking about them badly. Sometimes even the hair and makeup girls or costumes. And I've had to say to them,
it's understandable though if they've been around essays, extras who have been dicks. And like, I understand the rules as well. Like we were told you don't talk to the actors, you don't take fucking photos, you don't do anything. And only later on I realised why. Because if you're fucking sat in a car or sat in an area with an actor who's preparing for a scene, you don't want some bum who's there just for the day to get 80 quid, getting a phone out and snapping a selfie
or distracting them.
Or distract
because they don't,
for that reason.
They don't understand there's a preparation to your scene, right? However, not everyone's not that naive. Some of these essays are seasoned ones. They've been doing it for years. If anything, they take it as a profession. Yeah, there are some more senior ones that I'm aware of. and they get like tarnished with the same brush, and they get kind of left to it. Long periods of time with no food or drink. Sometimes they won't let them go to the toilet saying you're needed, but they don't need them. They're just messing them around, the runners, or ADs. Or just talking to them like shit. And some of these people, remember, they're not all young, naive students who want to make a quick buck. They're adults, they have their own other jobs, or perhaps they're retired. That person who's retired may have once been a very senior person in their industry. Very intelligent, very experienced, well-travelled, wherever they may be, yeah? Or even if they're not, if they're just a normal person, they still deserve the respect and same principles as actors and stunt performers. However, that doesn't occur. And sometimes you hear these speeches on set where they're like, oh, everyone matters and we care about all of you, but it's just a load of bullshit. They really don't.
I get it. The reality is they're more of a risk to production than the people who are there full time.
They are. But when they create this taboo that because you're an SA, you are more likely to do it, sometimes people's attitudes will fine, well, I'll do it then. You know, when they say you can't have your phone and they take the phone from them, this is the highest level of discrimination. They confiscate phones from everyone, so all SAs, but no one else. So if you're a tradesman who comes onto Pinewood to do some building work, it's right for you to have your phone, and I've seen it. They've taken some photos, a few videos here. Yeah, they're potential leaks, aren't they? They're potential snitches. They jeopardise the production, but because they're external, it's okay. Yeah. Yes, we know a principal actor or a stunt person is not going to leak stuff, but they forget one thing. An actor and stunt performer can very easily have their phone hacked or lose it, and that sensitive information get leaked. A prime example of not from production aspects of privacy, but still from a famous person, Jennifer Lawrence. You must know of her. Yeah. Someone hacked into her iCloud and leaked loads of naked photos of her from her personal iCloud account. Many years of naked photos she sent to her boyfriends.
Oh.
Great photos to look at. She's gorgeous, yeah? But can you see that those actors and stunt performers or whoever else they've got their phones on them, they're just at risk of someone hacking into their phone or finding their phone or stealing their phone and getting information as an SA who's got that on their phone as well. Yeah, so if you was a director and I was an SA, we both got our phones on us. If we've both taken the same photo on set, we're both at risk of exposing that, aren't we? Maybe not of our own accord.
Yeah.
So that's the argument there for discrimination. They don't look at SAs as responsible adults. They look at them as children.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the same thing has happened with what's called SPACs, which is a special action performer. And guys, patrons listening, this is a hybrid role they created for performers who are not quite stunt performers for the British Stunt Register, not quite SAs, but they're kind of in the middle. So they've got a bit of background into maybe screen combat, a little bit of, they can act a little
Tactical
bit.
driving.
Yeah, they can basically take direction. They're not a moron, yeah? And they kind of understand how things work a bit, but they're not at the high level still. So they're kind of in the middle, right? But that's a grey area because it's like a Wild West. They're not really protected. So they're also seen as SAs. So I've also seen discrimination with SAs and these action performers. These action performers as well, unlike SAs who get no credit. Remember, SAs get no credit in the films.
No.
The special action performers, they may be booked on productions. I myself have been on set as a SPAC performer before. It's more money. You do get paid more money for it, and you are treated a bit better. You can maybe or usually be working with the actual stunt team as an action performer. However, your contract and your credit is not there. So it's another form of discrimination and exploitation.
I understand the compartmentalization of the essays. I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand it. It can
likewise.
be not. I understand it can make people a bit sad. Some people, but I do get it.
Well, we have our divisions and sectors and departments in all lines of work. Yeah. Or even
exactly.
education, same thing.
Full-time employee versus contractor.
Yeah.
The contractor does exactly the same work as the full-time employee. The contractor is on a 12-month contract or 2-year contract. The full-time employee on a full-time employee contract. The contractor has less, for example, security privileges, then has less health privileges, has less pension privileges than the other person does.
Yeah.
You know, there's reasons for it.
Yeah.
But
that undermines a pool of people who, for whatever reason, haven't been able to get to that higher ranking. Maybe they're trying to get better. They're doing acting classes or they're training as a stunt performer, and they're kind of still hovering in that low level, and they're being messed around all the time. It's one of those things.
that's fucking life, man.
It is life.
That's the journey to the
It
top.
is
It's not
life,
easy.
But when you've got an industry saying they're trying to push for equality and diversity and whatnot, they're still treating the people that they need at the very bottom. Because I know they populate scenes now with CGI characters, but they still heavily use SAs to make settings and scenes look real.
If the personal interactions with SAs, if you are personally interacting with them in a way that is piece of shit dirt, then there is no place for that.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
with the utmost respect.
Unfortunately, that is still occurring. And
I'm glad I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, I think you're lucky. I think it's never going to go away.
Well, it's actually Joey that said it to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's Joey said it to me. Yeah, he said this is a great one.
I think it's only going to go away if the government in the UK tells the English and American institutions, if you carry this on, there will be serious fines. Because when they start, because remember, America come here to save loads of money in tax. That's why they film here so much. Separate to our locations and our studios and our talent, they save millions by filming here.
Why not?
Just because of tax loopholes.
The tax is
and tax incentives from the government, to bring in money into our country. If that then saving is then reduced by being told you will be penalised for obvious and blatant discrimination of key workers, whether that worker's here for 1 day or weeks broken, as an SA, as an example, or SPACT, will fine you. They'll change their tune very quickly. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I see it. In terms of crew, runners get treated like shit, but they're an apprentice. I'm not saying it's excusable, but it's kind of like a known thing that if you're wanting to do well in the film industry, you start off as a runner and work your way up. That tends to happen. Anything. You could be a 16-year-old teenager, you get your first job, they take the piss out, you call you a T-boy, you work your way up, maybe one day you're a supervisor, maybe one day you're a manager, and so on. Then the respect comes over time. I wouldn't really call it discrimination the runners get, but they don't get treated well either, and they get paid actually less than SAs. So I would say that's a slight discrimination as well, because SAs work less hours and those hours aren't necessarily hard, whereas a runner, the name says it all, they're working hard long hours and they actually get shit money. After tax, I'd say is way under minimum wage.
Okay. All right. Favorite psychology book?
Well, most of the ones I've read are sports related.
Fine.
Well, actually, no. Okay, it's kind of sports related, but there's a book called Atomic Habits.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Nope.
Right. So this is heavily linked in psychology. It's not purely psychology, but there is a lot about it.
James Clear.
Yeah. I actually met a BJJ fighter about 2 years ago at a seminar, and he told me, we were speaking about psychology and whatnot, and he said, if there's one book you need to read, it's this book. So I don't want to spoil it for people who've not read it. I would say read the description of it, and then if you read it, you'll know what it's about. Yeah.
The front cover says Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. That's on his website. Okay.
Yeah. It's a fantastic book. There are a lot of references to other good psychological books as well. But this is written in a, I would say, it's not academic.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I mean, it is academic in the referencing and the style, but the way it's written is for anyone.
Okay.
Because sometimes these books that are science-based, it's like reading a journal. When I was at university, I read these boring, dull journals and books. Some of them more interesting than others, but the way they write it is very academic, and sometimes that can be a bit dull, not engaging. This is nice reading, and you'll learn quite a lot. So I'd highly recommend that book,
Okay, I'm going to pick that
but
up.
I don't want to spoil it.
That's right.
Yeah.
When have you been most nervous? Was that the moment you spoke about in the icebreaker?
Remind me of. Oh yeah. Well, I was fearful. Was
Fearful.
it the
Okay, so when
same
have you been
thing?
most nervous?
Most nervous actually was 2 years ago. I was in a motion capture volume, um, and it was my first time ever being in a suit. You know what motion capture is?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
they make games
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
whatnot. First time in a suit, in a volume, and had
What do
all
you
the.
mean in a volume?
It's called a volume. So it's like a large room with cameras and markings
And
down.
detects your movements through the set. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
like Tron almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing to interact with, is there?
No.
There's no real objects really. So they call it the volume.
Okay.
That's a space, yeah. And I'd rehearsed this monologue for weeks. They'd given us options to rehearse because we were filming it to camera. And even though I'd rehearsed this monologue to the point I was literally just driving and I was just speaking out loud. I just knew every word without making a mistake. And I was so confident with the character. When they said, right, rolling, action. Like I was so nervous the first take. My voice was like trembling.
Hmm.
I could hear it, yeah. And I was trying to stop doing that and overcome it. And I got to the point saying, look, can I stop? Because for some reason I felt more nervous doing that than I did singing songs to how many children was it? It was like 300 or 400 children in Thailand when I used to live there. I used to be a teacher in Thailand for 2 years nearly, and I used to have to every morning sing songs with them as an assembly
Yeah.
outside in the boiling heat. Wasn't nervous to do that at all, but in this setting with less than 15 people, it was like I'd never performed in my life.
Really?
Ever. I'd never acted, never remembered a monologue. But I think it was the setting
Yeah.
because it was so alien. You know, this room here, for example, there's things for me to interact with. There's a plant behind you, there's a TV, there's all this tech table, there's clothing. I can kind of click my mind into different mindset, but there was nothing. And it was so raw and so quiet and still. I could hear my voice echoing. Imagine there's nothing there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no softness. It's so
Yeah.
dry and
Yeah.
cold and almost medical like, yeah, clinical. And yeah, I was so nervous. I was like messing up my lines and looked like an amateur. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with me? I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. And they were like, are you okay? I said, yeah, just give me a moment. I just need to overcome my nerves. But then every performer, you've probably heard this or read it at some time in your life, singers, musicians, actors, dancers, whatever they be, they all say they get scared and nervous every time they go on stage or they perform. Stand-up comedians as well. It's always in there a little bit. But I've never had it so strong where it actually was trembling as I was speaking my lines. Like, you know, that fight or flight feeling.
Yeah.
I was really nervous.
Really?
Like, I was like, what the hell's wrong with me? I know these people as well. They're not strangers. I mean, a couple of them are new, like the guy filming and sound girl I'd not met. But I was thinking, but I performed in more people than this. So, yeah, that I'd probably say is the most nervous from a performance perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone who wanted to be a film writer or director?
Luckily, nowadays, there is so much online you can access. There are great groups on Facebook. If you use Facebook, great groups to join. Loads of like independent filmmakers and indie stuff, or even bigger things on there. And it's not just national. You can join the international groups as well. So there's loads of groups and forums you can join and share and learn from. Sometimes just reading posts and what people are talking about, you can learn from without even interacting if you want to be anonymous. Yeah. There's loads of private groups on TikTok as well. It's quite a lot, and there's public stuff on TikTok for people who are doing that. If you want to interact that way, if you're not tech savvy or don't want to be on social media as much, the best way is to meet people in the field, and that might be go book yourself as an SA. Try and get an SA job, yeah, and speak to people. Speak to other SAs or other performers or crew, and you'd be surprised who you talk to. Remember, some of the crew, they're also newly graduated, some of them, or still trying to work their way up. So you can get a network there in the real world with those right people to access. Of course, like anything, do research, read, yeah, like not just internet, but try and find some books. There will be stuff in books from the past because internet didn't exist, did it? Yeah. So find yourself some good books. Go to workshops. You know, I met my network at the moment, separate for filming. Some of the best people I've met, and now having my network and work with or will work with, have met on workshops, whatever type of workshop may be. And they're not necessarily filmmaking related workshops, but they are something to do with the acting medium and the arts. Yeah. And then just if you have a plan for writing, just write it. You know, don't put it out there because unfortunately people steal ideas all the time. There are scouts always trying to buy good scripts and sell to Netflix, whoever it may be, or people trying to con you. If you've got really good scripts and story, just be careful with where you share it, who you send it to, because you might find it being developed in years to come, and you've lost potentially all your IP there, right? But there's no harm in, like I said, join these groups and forums and communities. Reddit is also very good, but I think Facebook is very, very helpful there. And then outreach to people. You know, like if you come across someone like myself, message them on social media, email them. You have to communicate really, and you have to go out there and look for it. But if you obviously are interested in the filmmaking process and writing, get yourself out there, meet people.
Yeah.
If you're an introvert and you don't want to do it physically to start, speak online. You know, I've done both. Even now, what we're doing is just helping to give inspiration and ideas to those filmmakers to listen to podcasts as well, or watch podcasts that may be linked to that genre of or area of interest you have. Just anything you can really think of to help you outreach to people, and then you'd be surprised.
Yeah,
it's
good
quite
advice.
It's easier process nowadays than it used to be.
Good advice.
Yeah.
What have we not covered that you wanted to cover, and how do people follow what you're doing and when your releases are?
Yeah, so Dead Zero will be filming mid-Feb and wrap in May. It will not be available to view in the public for a while because of the film festival stipulations. However, like we mentioned, if people want to see my first film, Jackal and Hyde, I will give you a private link that you can share,
awesome.
and they can watch it and then give me feedback. You can find me on Instagram personally as L.A.D artist, one full word. Jackal and Hyde has its own Instagram page.
Oh,
cool. Just touch Jackal and Hyde, and the same thing for Dead Zero. Dead Zero, we're obviously regularly pushing fresh content.
Are you saying Jackal and Hyde or Jekyll?
Jackal.
Spell it?
Jackal.
Oh, Jackal and Hyde.
Jackal,
okay,
yeah.
okay, right, yeah. Jackal and Hyde. Okay, yeah.
But you can find them both on Instagram and TikTok. But Instagram is obviously more regular content on there because we're doing all the pre stuff, so you can follow all the behind the scenes, the rehearsal, the prep, the locations. And again, you know, contact me on there. Happy to talk to people. You know, if they want to get involved, that's the other thing I didn't mention. For the horror fans that think I'd like to really see it in the real world, we're sending experience days, so you can be a zombie.
You mentioned this, yeah.
So you can be a zombie for the day. Like obviously we have a fee for that.
This will be on set.
On set, yeah.
For in your production,
in the film, yeah. Because obviously we have a few people that showed an interest that I really want to be a zombie, but I'm not an actor. I'm like, fine, we'll get you in full makeup, prosthetics, costume. You'll be fed for the day, and then we will direct you in certain scenes where you're required to play a zombie. So there's no lines, no stunts, but you will be a zombie in whatever you're doing. So you've got that as an opportunity if you're interested.
What area of the UK is this?
Hertfordshire. And Hemel Hempstead area.
Hertfordshire.
Yeah. And then if you're interested in being a filmmaker from a AD runner perspective, like you want to go behind the scenes and work with the crew, maybe you're interested in being a gaffer or a sound guy or a camera operator, or maybe one day a director yourself. We will have an experience day as well there for you where you can shadow them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
that's cool. How come you started that then?
Sorry,
why have you decided to do that?
Because on the first film, with Jackal and Hyde, we had a lot of people saying, "I'd really like to be involved, but I'm not an actor, or I'm not confident to do that, or I don't think that's for me. So from this second film, I thought, how can I get other people involved who are interested? And also they can meet the team and build their own network and make some new friends. I thought, let's do this to try and help other people get involved from different aspects. As a fan, if you're a horror fan, to be a zombie, or if you have that real interest in being crew, there's no better experience than actually being on set with real working life experience.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You can read as many books you like or go to college, but when you're doing it, it's a different story.
So how do people inquire about those experience days?
So they can just message me on the Instagram pages.
Perfect.
I'll also give you my email, my personal email for the production company. So if people want to email me instead, they can have that email as well.
Okay.
If they don't use social media, for example.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds.
So yeah.
Been a pleasure, mate. I didn't think we were going to do that long on TV and film. I'm not complaining. I love the topic. And I learned a lot. It's cool to hear what you're doing. And Dead Zero sounds good. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully this year, maybe not too much longer.
Well, it's the second film in a whole universe we're building. So yeah, after this will be fantasy or science fiction. Then we go into other areas. So, but there's always a common theme with action. So yeah, so I kind of want to be seen as in the future as a director and producer as the action guy.
Yeah.
Well,
good luck with it, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Goodbye, patrons. All done. Live link is going off.